Welcome to Frequency. I'm Jenni Fields.
And I'm Chuck Gose. Frequency is your go-to for real talk about comms, culture, and employee experience beyond the buzzwords and straight to what matters. What matters today is we are live here at Unily's Unite event in Nashville and our first ever live episode. Insert applause. Thank you. Thank you. Unedited, unfiltered, we'll do our normal share of what's interesting to us. And at the end, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions and share what you are freaking about. And that is Freqing, freaking out about. You can use the app, as I said, or also run the mic because we'd love to hear your voices as part of this podcast episode. When we do this, we always trade off kicking off the episode. And so we had a list of things we were going to talk about. And then Jenni surprised me with something when we showed up here today. Or you can do that. Somebody, please Google right now the Taylor Swift of internal communications. Please just Google that for me. As she shows up here flaunting a Taylor Swift t-shirt, which only shows artists don't wear their own merch.
She wears this t-shirt in the show.
Stop. Anyway, we're going to continue on with this episode. We're done with the charade. We're done with the charade. Just Google it when you see it. You'll find the real truth. Okay. Kicking off from our keynote from this morning, we'd like to welcome you to the Charisma Zone. We feel like we bring a lot of warmth and competence to this internal comms profession. And Jenni, this is your first trip to Nashville.
It is.
I have also learned recently you are watching the show Nashville.
I was.
So has this lived up to what you thought it would be?
Oh, 100%. But I'm a bit sad that Raina James isn't real because I would have loved to have seen her perform. But it's awesome. I have some cowboy boots on, which I bought at French's. I've had some fried chicken. We've had some bourbon tasting. Tick, 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 tick.
You've done a good job.
Yeah.
I will say when you visit, you do a good job of crossing off the list.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
So we will get you to Vegas at some point, but Nashville is a step back from that. We're going to go into, first off, some of our key takeaways from what we have taken in so far from Unite. So Jenni, I will let you go here.
Sure. So I've got some takeaways from the Unily team. So there were some 3 takeaways for me from yesterday. The first is that top of mind for internal comms and HR is persistent digital noise, critical information trust, and empowered talent market. We also heard that the 3 big challenges for digital employee experience are the need to get business critical information out fast that always outpaces capacity. So that's a challenge. We heard about content sprawl, making it impossible to keep all of the information updated. And we also heard that staring at dashboards can never truly connect the dots from content to outcomes. Thank goodness. We also heard of the launch of Indy, which is the new AI part of Unily. And we'll share some links in the show notes for that if you want to find out more, because it was very impressive. I've got 2 more quotes I want to share from yesterday. One was from Dr. Mae Jemison, who was our keynote, who said, "Give people room to tell their story. People cannot hear you until you've given them space to share what they have to say." The second one was from Kim England Goodbear, who's here. Hello. And you said that the democratization of employee voice has created noise in organizations. And I loved that.
I love that too. No surprise, we have wildly different takeaways.
100%. Yours will be all tech.
Right. Well, maybe. We'll see. I really liked on the main stage Jane from Microsoft and talking about Copilot. And she shared a new term that I had not heard of before, which was the rise of frontier firms. So these are organizations where human and intelligent agents are operating side by side, moving beyond simple AI assistants to these autonomous agents that can act on decisions. And so I'm really curious for all of you how you feel about internal comms having coworkers that aren't human, and how are you going to communicate with these? I've seen some iffy hands out there. She outlined this is going to be unfold in phases, what I think we're all experiencing out there with AI happening differently in different organizations at different paces, but each one clearly demanding clarity and trust. And I think that's a key part of any AI adoption. And that's where we all come in. That's where communicators come into this. It's not just about explaining what AI does. It's about helping employees believe in this new kind of partnership between human judgment and machine logic. So I like that point about that Jane talked about. I also have 2 quotes. that I would like to share. From this morning's keynote, Vanessa Van Edwards. She had 2 quotes that stood out to me. One was, sterilizing our communication is ruining our communication. I think we've all been guilty of sterilizing that, and that takes out that human element to it, that warmth and competency. And the last one, which I think is very important for us in internal comms, don't ask it, state it. We have to stop asking permission to share our ideas. That she just gave you permission. Don't ask it, state it. So that was our takeaways from the event. We know all of you have your own, which is great. That's the beauty of events like this. But now we're going to go into our normal episode where we each bring in a couple articles of things that we read. These could be podcast episode, YouTube videos, LinkedIn posts, articles, research, whatever it is. So I'm going to kick off one, which I think is very timely for this audience here, which is the trust gap is the AI story. So SAS and IDC surveyed nearly 2,400 leaders across regions and industries and found a classic mismatch. Belief outruns proof. Adoption is already mainstream, with 2/3 of organizations using AI and another third planning to use AI in the next 12 months. Inside that surge, though, 8 out of 10 respondents say they completely trust AI. So the people that are using it are trusting it. Yet only 40% report advanced trustworthiness practices like governance, explainability, and ethical safeguards. So we're trusting it without the frameworks to support it. The report visualizes this trust dilemma, estimating about 46% of organizations sit in misalignment, where trustworthy systems are underused or underproven and are over-relied upon. The authors note that a practical path forward, companies plan to increase investments in responsible AI, with more than half moderating up and a quarter significantly increasing spend, especially around explainability. So we know employees have to understand what's happening. AI ethics and compliance and embedding responsible AI in the life cycle are all part of this conversation. So where does this fit for communicators? The message, I think, is actually pretty blunt for all of us in the room. You do not sell trust you have not earned. Spell out where the model is used, who reviews outputs, and what recourses exist when the system is wrong. So we're using it. Let's explain how we're using it and what happens when things go wrong. We need to treat governance like a product feature, not simply an appendix that comes at the end. So I'm curious for you, Jenni, when leaders say, we trust our AI, what do we put in front of employees on day one to make sure that trust is credible?
So I think this is a bigger question about how we interpret trust as an individual. Because I think if you said we trust our AI, there's too many layers on that for employees to break down, because you have to trust your leaders who are saying that they trust it in order for you to trust it. I said trust a lot there. So there's those layers in there for me. And so if I trust my leader and my leader says we trust our AI, then I'm more likely to believe that. If I don't trust my leader, then I'm probably not going to trust the AI that's coming with it. But in terms of what we need to put in front of employees to do that, I think that completely depends on your personality type as an employee. I think some people will want to have fun with it. They'll play with it. They won't really care. They'll just get in amongst it. Whereas I'm going, hang on a minute. Like, where's the bias? What's been done to build this? How's it doing that? I'm way more skeptical. So I would want to know all of those things at the same time. So I think there's a bit of your own personality type. And I think there is the human trust that is layered onto the digital trust.
I think there's also an element, though, where there's the average employee. I think whether or not their leader trusts it or not, you're right. If they don't trust their leader, they're not going to trust a lot of things that happen in the organization. But I think there is a way for you to build trust, but that's through experience. And it's through using a platform, using a tool, seeing the results. How are you refining it? How are you building in it? When I think about, I like